This year didn't just happen to you. Heaven designed it for you. Every moment you thought was a delay was actually development. God wasn't ignoring you. He was shaping you. In the silence, you were being trained. In the pain, you were being purified. The weight of last year was preparation for the spiritual strength required this year. You'll see why certain doors didn't open. They weren't delays, they were divine boundaries. You're not behind schedule. You're right on divine time. This is not recovery, it's launch. Imagine a master sculptor standing before a solid block of marble. To the untrained eye, every removal of stone might look like loss, a part taken away. But to the sculptor, every careful chisel strike reveals more of the beautiful form hidden within. In the same way, God has been chiseling away at the rough edges of your character. When relationships fractured, when dreams were deferred, when opportunities slipped through your fingers, each moment was not a punishment, but a precise incision aimed at unveiling the masterpiece of your destiny. Recall those seasons of doubt when you whispered prayers into the darkness and heard only silence in return. In that sacred quiet, the roots of your faith were deepening. Just as seeds germinate beneath the soil in unseen darkness before breaking through into the sunlight, so too was your spirit secretly being fortified. Your patience was being refined. Your trust solidified. That stillness was not emptiness. It was a training ground for the miracles that awaited you. Think of every closed door as a boundary of divine wisdom. When you encountered locked gates, it wasn't rejection, it was protection. There were lessons you needed to learn, strengths you needed to cultivate, and blind spots you needed to correct before advancing. The closed doors were signposts pointing you toward the paths that would lead you to joy, purpose, and abundance. Instead of lamenting what might have been, celebrate the sovereign love that guided you around pitfalls you couldn't yet see. The struggles of last year were not setbacks. They were samples of pure gold in the making. Just as fire purifies precious metal by burning away its dross, your trials have burned away fear, pride, and self-reliance, leaving behind the pure essence of unwavering faith. Today you stand stronger, more resilient, and more radiant than before. The scars you bear are not blemishes but badges of honor, proof that you have endured, overcome, and emerged victorious. Now, as you step into this new season, recognize that this is no mere continuation of what was. This is your divinely ordained launch. The training wheels have been removed and the runway is cleared. Your wings have been strengthened by the very winds that once threatened to topple you. The divine clock has never been ticking against you. It has been ticking in perfect harmony with heaven's plan for your life. So lift your head, steady your gaze, and take that next step with confidence. The world is waiting for the fullness of your purpose to be revealed. This year you will witness doors open that you didn't even know existed. You will walk into blessings too abundant to count and opportunities too good to miss. You are not behind. You are not delayed. You are exactly where heaven designed you to be, poised for takeoff on the trajectory of your God-given destiny. This year is not for the timid or the risk-averse. The version of you that feared rejection, needed constant validation, or played small to stay safe, that worn-out persona must be left behind. God is calling forth the bold, the clear, the fully aligned you. Feel the tension of identity shedding, not as chaos, but as the divine unwrapping of your true self. This transformation is both holy and necessary. This year requires the raw, unfiltered expression of your spirit, not the edited version you once thought would be acceptable. Picture a snake in the throes of molting. It writhes uncomfortably, shedding its old skin in a vulnerable, messy process. Yet without that cast-off shell, the snake could neither grow nor flourish. In the same way, your fears, your people-pleasing tendencies, and your self-doubt are the old casing that must be sloughed off. The discomfort you feel now is the unmistakable sign that metamorphosis is underway. Embrace it. This divine process is making room for new strength, new vision, and new authority. Remember the times you held back, when you silenced your voice to avoid confrontation, when you swallowed your dreams to fit in, when you shrank yourself to match someone else's expectations. Those days are over. God is calling you to step into the fullness of who you were created to be, unafraid, uncompromised, and unwavering. The world needs your authentic voice, your unique perspective, and the brilliance of your gifts shining without apology. As you stand at the threshold of this season, you may feel a tug between the comfort of the old and the promise of the new. That tension is not a sign of failure. It is the cord of progress tightening around your heart, preparing to launch you into uncharted realms of influence and impact. Do not flee from it. Lean into it. Let every moment of unease be a divine prompt to relinquish your back pocket habits of hiding. God is clearing space in your life, space for courage, space for clarity, space for calling. This is not the time for half measures. The days of tentative steps and whispered prayers are giving way to bold movements and prophetic decrees. The voice inside you that once trembled with, "What if I fail?" has been recalibrated to ask, "What if I fly?" You were never meant to play the background role. You are appointed for the spotlight. Your story is not one of mere survival, but of triumphant ascendance. Feel the rise of your spiritual authority as a quiet roar within your soul. It's a different kind of power than you've known, less about control, more about covenant. It's rooted in intimacy with the divine, fortified by obedience and propelled by vision. This authority does not bully, it liberates. It does not intimidate, it inspires. It does not demand, it invites participation in heaven's grand design. In practical terms, you will notice doors, once sealed tight, now swinging open at your approach. Invitations you never imagined will find their way to your inbox. People who once overlooked you will suddenly recognize your value. Circumstances that felt stuck will pivot overnight. These openings are not random strokes of luck. They are divine affirmations that you are stepping into the fullness of your calling. So stand tall, speak your truth. Walk with the confidence of one who knows the architect of the universe is guiding every step. The new you does not apologize for greatness. You do not hedge your words in fear of offending. You do not dim your light to accommodate someone else's comfort level. You shine intentionally, illuminating the path for others to follow. This is your season of bold emergence. The chrysalis of yesterday's limitations has been broken. The butterfly of your destiny is ready to soar. Trust the process. Trust the one who initiated this sacred transformation. And as you rise, remember, you are not merely becoming, you are being unveiled. The world is ready for the unapologetic, unstoppable, fully empowered you. Embrace your new role with faith, for you have been elevated, equipped, and anointed to lead like never before. Last year was more than just a season. It was a divine recalibration. In that sacred reset, layers of false alignments were peeled away like autumn leaves drifting from a tree, and unfinished battles were swept off your battlefield by the gentle hand of heaven. Every moment of disquiet, every discordant note, served to detune you from illusions and retune you to your true spiritual frequency. That season has reached its crescendo. Its purpose is fulfilled, its lessons fully learned. Now the outstretched arms of grace invite you into a fresh phase of release. Imagine standing on the shores of a vast ocean at dawn. The tide has receded, drawing back all the debris clinging to the rocks, exposing smooth stones and hidden coves you never knew existed. Those remnants of yesterday, the worries, the regrets, the what-ifs, have been carried away on the currents. The waters are now clear, revealing pathways beneath the surface that beckon you forward. But you must cease looking over your shoulder at the footprints in the sand. The tide has erased them, and in their place is the open expanse of possibility. What God has released is already in motion, like a great river born high in the mountains that gains strength and momentum as it flows. Its course is unalterable. It knows the landscape better than you do. The question is not whether the river will reach the sea. It's whether you will board the vessel that is waiting to carry you downstream. Will you step onto the current of divine purpose, or will you linger on the shore, attempting to reconstruct the shoreline that no longer exists? Stop exerting effort to repair doors that heaven has already shut. Each closed door was a safeguard, a boundary of divine wisdom. They were not thorns to avoid, but signposts pointing you toward broader horizons. The effort you spend trying to pry them open distracts you from the new portals swinging wide before you, portals that may look different, feel unfamiliar, and challenge your preconceptions, but which lead to the very destiny you were created to embrace. Feel the releasing power at work in your spirit. It is as though your hands have been unbound from the cords of past expectations, and your feet have been loosed from the chains of yesterday's routines. In that newfound freedom lies the invitation to dance, to step boldly into terrain that seems uncharted, but which heaven has already mapped out for you. This is not recklessness, it's spiritual audacity, a confidence born of knowing that the architect of the universe has already paved the way. So lift your gaze from the retreating waters of what was, and fix your eyes on the horizon of what is becoming. The new doors before you may bear little resemblance to those you've known, but they are crafted by the same hands that formed galaxies and set stars in their courses. Walk through them with courage. Move with the momentum that heaven has established. Release your grip on the past, for in doing so, you will grasp the future with both hands. Today you stand at the threshold of a new chapter, a chapter not written in the ink of anxiety or hesitation, but in the bold strokes of faith-filled action. The spiritual reset of last year has prepared you for this moment of release. Now, as the currents of divine purpose surge around you, choose to flow. Choose to live in the new dimension of your calling. What awaits you on the other side is not a repetition of what has been, but the fulfillment of what could never have been until now. It's time to move. Nothing you're about to receive is random. It's all part of the blueprint God wrote long before you prayed for it. This is the year where things feel like they just happen. But it's not coincidence. It's confirmation. Every encounter, every connection, every opportunity has been orchestrated. You're not chasing blessings anymore. They're assigned to find you. Why? Because you've been positioned. Favor isn't about luck, it's about alignment. Think of a master architect drafting the plans for a grand cathedral centuries in advance. Every stone, every window, every curve is laid out in meticulous detail on the page before a single brick is even transported to the site. So it is with the divine design of your life. The prayers you uttered in faith years ago were seeds planted deep in your spirit, and now the harvest is ready. When you arrive at the right place in the right season, what looks like serendipity is actually the fulfillment of an ancient blueprint. Recall seasons when you felt overlooked or passed over. In hindsight, those moments were the very calibration you needed to be aligned with your destiny. Like a sailboat that must tack back and forth against the wind before it can hitch the breeze that carries it straight to port, your detours were setting the course. Now the winds have shifted. Your sails are trimmed. The harbor lights you see on the horizon were ignited for you long ago, and they are drawing you home. Every person you meet today is not a random stranger, but a link in the chain of your destiny. Conversations that arise in casual passing, introductions made in hallways, messages that land in your inbox at odd hours. These are divine appointments, coded and coordinated by heaven's scheduling system. Look beyond the surface. That email request, that unexpected phone call, that serendipitous coffee shop encounter. Each one is a breadcrumb on the trail leading you straight to the doors that swing open for your favor. Opportunities will present themselves like gifts landing at your feet. Promotions, partnerships, creative breakthroughs, spiritual insights. Do not dismiss them as strokes of fortune or attribute them to your own merit alone. Pause, give thanks, and acknowledge that you are stepping into something much larger than your own efforts. The walls of limitation you once pressed against are dissolving because you have been realigned with divine intention. You're no longer in the chase, you're in the receiving. Imagine standing beneath a waterfall of blessings, arms outstretched, not scrambling to fill an empty cup, but trusting that the flood will overflow. That overflow is the evidence of alignment, that place where your faith, your obedience, and your identity in Christ converge, creating a channel for supernatural provision. So as you move through this year, cultivate awareness. Pay attention to the small synchronicities, the song that plays just as you think of a friend, the book that falls open to the exact verse you need, the stranger's smile that arrives like a benediction. These are not random ripples. They are echoes of the divine plan resonating through your everyday. Favor is not blind luck. It is the gravitational pull of heaven's favor drawing every piece into place. Stand firm in that knowing. You have been positioned. Your steps are being ordered. Favor is not about luck or happenstance. It is the unmistakable alignment between your surrendered heart and the perfect will of God. Receive it with gratitude, walk into it with boldness, and steward it with humility. This year, you are not just watching your story unfold. You are stepping into the very narrative God authored before the foundations of the world. You felt it. That subtle tug in your chest, like a gentle yet insistent heartbeat alerting you that something monumental is unfolding just beyond your sight. Even when your circumstances remain unchanged, the atmosphere around you has already begun to shift. Why? Because your name has been whispered in courts of grace you have never walked into, and your destiny is being drawn up in realms you've only glimpsed in dreams. God is summoning you into spiritual assignments that demand the fullness of your true identity. No longer will you hide behind the shadows of doubt or diminish yourself out of fear. The proclamation has echoed through the heavens. Let her step forth. Let him arise. And now, the earthly realm is gradually aligning to receive what the heavens have already decreed. Imagine a grand orchestra tuning their instruments in hushed expectation before a symphony that will captivate the world. Each musician waits for the conductor's baton to fall, signaling the moment to unleash their song. In much the same way, you've been in your tuning phase, your character refined, your faith tested, your purpose clarified, so that when the baton of God's timing drops, you will play your part with perfect pitch. The world may not yet see the score written before you, but rest assured, the notes have been engraven, the movements have been composed, and your solo is ready to begin. This season of exposure is not about drawing attention to yourself. It's about magnifying the assignment entrusted to you. You will find doors open at the mention of your name, platforms extended without your pleading, and audiences gathered before you even speak. These openings are not accidents. They are divine corridors carved out by your obedience, paved by your perseverance, and illuminated by your integrity. Every handshake, every invitation, every platform is part of a grand design to display the glory of God through the unique expression of your calling. Yes, exposure can feel vulnerable. The thought of stepping into the spotlight may stir old anxieties, the fear of criticism, the pain of past failures, the nagging voice that questions your worthiness. But remember, light only shines when darkness recedes. The very act of being seen is evidence that the chains of concealment have been broken. What once bound you in secrecy now propels you into visibility. What once whispered, "You're not ready," has been silenced by the roar of heaven affirming, "You are exactly who you were made to be." Feel the invitation to rise. It may come through an unexpected conversation at a coffee shop, a sudden clarity during your morning prayer, or a chance encounter that leaves you saying, "I know this is more than coincidence." That internal confirmation is the heavenly dispatch arriving in your spirit. It doesn't come with fanfare or trumpets. It arrives like a still, small voice urging you forward. Lean into it. Follow its lead. Each step you take in obedience amplifies the broadcast of your assignment, drawing others into the current of transformation you are spearheading. So stand tall and steady on the foundation of your identity in Christ. Let your presence be intentional, not flaunting but confident, not clinging to applause but anchored in purpose. This exposure is your launch pad. It's time to unfurl the gifts you've concealed, to speak the words you've rehearsed in private, and to walk into rooms where your influence will release healing, hope, and breakthrough. The heavens have already opened the windows. The wind of destiny is rushing through. Will you raise your sails and soar? The world awaits the unveiling of your God-ordained assignment. You've spent years on the outside looking in, waiting for someone to notice you, a system to accept you, a platform to amplify you. But long before the applause of people, God's applause resounded in heaven. "This one is mine." You were placed in position before you ever earned a credential. You were planted in soil rich with purpose before you ever bore your first fruit. Now the time has come to stop auditioning for approval and begin architecting the life and legacy you were sent here to create. Feel that stirring deep in your spirit? It's the removal of old mindsets, no longer believing your value hinges on someone else's validation. You carry authority now, the weight of divine endorsement resting on your shoulders like a mantle of honor. Authority isn't something you grasp for. It's something you embody when you walk in the fullness of your identity. You don't need to shrink your voice to fit in. You don't need to bargain your worth for a seat at the table. You are not seeking entrance. You are the entrance. You are the threshold through which vision advances, breakthroughs occur, and lives are transformed. Think of a lighthouse standing firm against crashing waves. It doesn't apologize for its height or dim its light when storm clouds gather. It simply shines, guiding vessels safely to shore. In the same way, your presence is not a request, it is a beacon. When you step into a gathering, be it a boardroom, a classroom, or a living room, your light carves pathways through uncertainty. Your words bring clarity. Your courage births confidence in others. You are not competing for recognition. You are releasing revelation. This year, you will build. You will launch projects that bear your signature, initiatives that carry your imprint. You will cultivate communities that resonate with your passion and align with your purpose. No more waiting by the phone. No more refreshing email inboxes in hope. Your calling compels you to pick up tools, draft plans, and move earth. You have been anointed not just to join conversations, but to start movements. You have been endowed not just to fill seats, but to furnish kingdoms. So stand unashamed in the authority you've been given. Speak as one who knows the architect of the universe has commissioned your words. Create as one who understands every resource you need has already been provisioned. Lead as one who trusts your influence is a divine current. Once unleashed, it cannot be contained. Move like you own the space, because in God's economy, you already do. No more asking, "Do I belong here?" The answer is woven into the very fabric of your being. Yes. No more bargaining for worthiness. It was sealed the moment you were born, predestined, pre-drawn, pre-approved. This is the year you stop auditioning and start architecting. You are not merely invited. You are the invitation. You are not one voice among many. You are the chorus that calls others into harmony. Step forward. Build boldly. Shine relentlessly. You are the room, and in you, all things find their purpose. Heaven is poised to flood your life with radiant light, but it will only illuminate the contours of your authentic self. This year, any mask you've worn, whether to please, perform, or protect, will be stripped away under spiritual scrutiny. What survives that refining will be the unvarnished truth of who God created you to be, and that is precisely what He intends to honor. Imagine a diamond being examined under a jeweler's loupe. Every imperfection, every inclusion, every facet is laid bare. Under the magnification of heaven's gaze, pretense cannot endure. Yet what emerges is not something to hide or be ashamed of, but to celebrate. The fire-polished brilliance of your true character. The flaws are not flaws at all. They are the very marks of authenticity that refract divine light in unexpected ways. You will find yourself seen in rooms where you never asked for attention. Your story will resonate with hearts that have longed for hope. People will lean in, not because of a polished persona or a crafted image, but because your genuine vulnerability carries power. When you speak from the place of your deepest wounds and greatest triumphs, your voice becomes a beacon for others who thought they had to remain silent. You will be heard, not as an echo of someone else's script, but as the living testimony of a soul set free. Honoring your authenticity is not about self-promotion. It's about stewardship of the vessel God entrusted to you. When the world's spotlight finds you, your response will not be to bask in applause, but to point toward the source of your light. You'll carry it humbly, like a lantern passed from one weary traveler to the next. You won't chase popularity. You'll embrace purpose. Your influence will grow, not by chasing numbers, but by staying true to the mission written on your heart. Yes, the part of you that once had to hide, the tender child, the broken dreamer, the wounded healer, will be unveiled. That hidden aspect is not a liability, but a part of your powerful narrative. In the disclosure of your scars, others will find solace. In the authenticity of your tears, they will discover permission to heal. This recognition you receive is holy, not hype. It's the applause of heaven echoing through human hearts, inviting everyone into the freedom of unmasked living. No longer will you spend energy managing impressions. Instead, your days will be devoted to magnifying truth. Your social streams, your conversations, your very walk will become conduits of transparency. And as you live out this radical honesty, the light of heaven will not merely touch you, it will flow through you and onto everyone you meet. You will become a lighthouse, not because you shine by your own power, but because your alignment with the divine sets you aglow. So stand unashamed in the fullness of your identity. Let every pretense drop like autumn leaves and feel the fresh breeze of divine authenticity stirring your soul. The world is ready for the real you, the one who has persevered, grown, and been sanctified through every trial. This year, truth will ascend its throne in your life, and that throne will never be usurped by shadows of the past. Embrace the exposure. It is not a trial but a triumph. The light is not aimed to humiliate but to heal, not to break but to beautify. Your authentic self is more than enough. It is extraordinary. Heaven's spotlight is on you. Step into it with confidence and let your true brilliance ignite hope wherever you go. You judged yourself by the absence of visible fruit, measuring success by the harvest you could see. But heaven's scales were calibrated differently. They weighed your steadfastness, your posture of dependence, your willingness to remain rooted in the unseen. Every early morning prayer, every moment of obedience when no accolades followed, every act of faith that didn't yield applause, these were the secret currencies of your spiritual bank. In that silent economy, you accrued riches of character, resilience, and intimacy with the divine that no drought could diminish. Now, because you stayed faithful through seasons of apparent barrenness, you have passed the test. Not to earn a prize, but to prove yourself worthy of greater assignment. This is not about reward, it's about release. You're not stepping into a season to collect trophies, you're stepping onto a field of deployment. The Master's hand is lifting you from the sidelines to the front lines of purpose. Picture a soldier waiting in the barracks, trained for months in drill and discipline, not for parade, but for the mission ahead. When the command comes, there is no time for rehearsal, only action. In the same way, your months and years of hidden devotion have readied you for the moment your orders arrive. Everything you learned about trust, perseverance, and intimacy will now become your armor and your weapon. You will find yourself sent into situations you never would have chosen in your own strength, relationships that need healing, communities longing for hope, ideas waiting for a voice bold enough to birth them into reality. You will not be sent unprepared. The very soil that tested your roots now provides the nutrients that will sustain you under pressure. Your pruning season produced not just humility but clarity. Your dark nights crafted not just endurance but revelation. This deployment season will look different for each of us, but it will have one thing in common. It will demand you move in the authority you have been given. Gone are the days of tentative steps and cautious whispers. You have been equipped with gifts, insights, and strategies that were incubated in the silence. Now they will erupt into action. The call of heaven on your life will summon you forward, and you will answer without hesitation. Expect to feel the winds of change before you see them. Your heart will quicken at the hint of new assignments, the stirrings of people in need of what you carry. Doors that once felt locked will swing open at the gentle pressure of your obedience. Invitations will cross your path like messages dropped from above, summons to serve, to lead, to create. Do not shrink back. Do not question your worthiness. Your deployment is not based on your performance, but on your faithfulness. So gather your courage and polish your vision. Remember that every trial you endured was a dimension of your training. The dry seasons were not intended to discourage you, but to deepen your root system so you could stand tall when the storms of life blew hardest. Today, as you receive the orders to advance, lean into the confidence you've cultivated in darkness. Speak with the authority that was forged in solitude. Go in the power of the Spirit, not in the strength of your flesh. This is your deployment season. You are being released into your field of influence. The world around you is hungry for the fruit that only your unique calling can produce. Move with intention, serve with compassion, lead with integrity, and know that as you obey, heaven rejoices, and the unseen realms cheer at your every step. The time of waiting is over. The time of sending has arrived. Step forward, soldier of faith, and claim the ground you were always meant to hold. You've been whispering to yourself, "I just need more time," as though extra hours could summon the courage you already possess. Yet the real barrier isn't the ticking clock. It's the fog of uncertainty clouding your vision. In the stillness of your heart, you already know the assignment God has placed before you. You're not waiting for a calendar page to turn. You're hesitating to step into the clarity you've been given. And make no mistake, hesitation is the thief of momentum. Picture a sunrise breaking through the darkest night. The light doesn't linger in the horizon, debating its worth. It pours forward, scattering shadows with unstoppable resolve. In the same way, God is calling you to rise in clarity, not comfort. Your soul has been saturated with truth, your spirit equipped with guidance, and your heart ignited with passion. The path you're meant to walk is already lit. What remains is your willingness to take those first definitive steps. You may find yourself crafting elaborate plans, researching every possible angle, or waiting for every star to align before you move. But what if the real requirement isn't a perfect plan, but a bold declaration of permission to act on the whisper of your soul? Consider an eagle perched atop a craggy cliff. It doesn't wait for favorable wind patterns to be certain by morning. It leans into the breeze, trusting its wings. Your wind is the clarity God has already provided. Your wings are the gifts and insights He's entrusted to you. What you long for, the breakthrough, the idea come to fruition, the dream made real, is already prepared in heaven's workshop. Divine provision is at your door, but it waits for the simple yes that issues from an open, surrendered heart. This permission is not something to be granted by external forces. It is a decree you must issue to yourself by stepping into obedience. Stop rehearsing your excuses and start rehearsing your declaration. I give myself permission to move forward in faith. Feel the release that comes when you shift from if only to I will. The tension in your chest is not fear. It's the electric charge of destiny coming alive. Once you give yourself permission, momentum follows like a rushing river carving new canyons. Doors begin to open before you even approach. Conversations start to align. Resources you didn't know existed converge around your purpose. And though the steps may feel uncertain at first, the ground beneath your feet will prove firm, for it is the foundation of God's own promise. This year, refuse to let comfort dictate your pace. Clarity carries a sharper edge. It cuts through complacency and propels you into the realm of the miraculous. So stand now, breathe deeply, and speak that long overdue yes. Grant yourself the authority to act on what you already know. The clock will keep ticking, but your purpose doesn't wait on hands of time. Step into the light of clarity and watch as heaven's blueprints unfold in real time through every bold step you take. This year will not activate fully until you own it with your voice. The moment you declare your authority, your identity, your timing, the moment heaven moves in sync with you. Speak as one who's ready. Walk as one who's already sent. Don't just survive 2025. Command it. Don't wait for it to change. Become the change. You are not just prepared for this year. This year was prepared for you. Imagine a conductor stepping onto the podium. He doesn't wait for the orchestra's first note. He raises his baton, and the entire symphony responds. So it is with your life. Your declaration is the signal the universe has been waiting for. When you speak your season aloud, boldly proclaiming, I am the authority here, and my time is now. You initiate the crescendo of divine orchestration. Every principle you've learned, every trial you've endured, every promise you've embraced converges at that single powerful word, go. Feel the weight of those words on your tongue. They are not mere syllables, but spiritual keys unlocking the doors of possibility. I own this year. I carry heaven's mandate. I move in divine timing. With each affirmation, you shift from a place of passive waiting to active kingship. You step from the shadows of doubt onto the stage of destiny. The universe responds not to your hesitations, but to your declarations, adjusting its rhythms to match the frequency of your faith. This is not a call to reckless bravado, but to sovereign confidence. You are not commanding for the sake of ego. You are commanding to align the seen with the unseen. You command peace into storm-tossed relationships. You command resurrection into dry dreams. You command breakthrough where doors were once sealed. Your voice is the trumpet that rallies heaven's hosts to battle on your behalf, dismantling every obstacle and ushering in every provision. Walk as one who's already sent. When you enter a room, carry the posture of one on assignment. Your gait should speak of purpose, your handshake of promise, your every glance of intentional favor. The atmosphere bends to your presence because you've been anointed to carry heaven's fragrance. You don't plead for opportunities. You summon them with expectancy, knowing they've been fashioned for your footprint. 2025 is not a year to react. It's a year to enact. Don't follow the calendar's shifting seasons. Author them. Plant your flag in January's promise. Water it with March's determination. Reap the harvest of September's obedience. Refuse to let time be a silent spectator. Instead, let it be the echo of your command, marking every milestone with proof that heaven conspired on your behalf from the very beginning. Speak, walk, command, become the change. This year isn't just another 12 months on the clock. It's a divinely choreographed movement waiting for your first step. You are not merely ready. You are the readiness itself. You are not just prepared. This year was prepared for you. So speak it. Live it. Command it into being. The world awaits your decree.